I was 60 years old when I came to a very painful realization. Loneliness doesn't always mean living by yours. Sometimes, the most terrifying kind of loneliness is sitting at the exact same dinner table with your own family and feeling like you aren't even there. For my milestone birthday, my daughter-in-law baked a cake. It was beautiful, tall, layered with frosting and fresh berries. Everyone kept gushing about how delicious it was. But as I chewed my tiny slice, I tasted absolutely nothing. Not because the cake was bad. It was just that my appetite had vanished a long time ago. My appetite for sweets, for holidays. I used to think that growing old meant a quiet house. A place where the phone never rings, no one knocks on the door, and nobody asks, "Mom, are you home?" But now I know there is a much worse kind of silence. It's when there are people right next to you, but to them, you are no longer a human being. You're just a piece of furniture. Packing a life into 2 suitcases. 10 years ago, my husband passed away. We had been married for 40 years. He wasn't a wealthy man, and he didn't use grand, romantic phrases, but with him, I always felt completely safe. He knew how to fix everything from a creaky door to my worst moods. When he went missing from my life, I clung to our children. I gave them everything I possibly could. I helped out constantly, watched my grandson, cooked, sent them money, waited by the phone for their calls, and celebrated every single visit. I truly believed that love was a two-way street, that it would come back to me, but their calls kept getting shorter. Their visits grew fewer and farther between. There were always errands, work, burnout, plans. And then my son said to me, "Mom, you should just move in with us. Why are you sitting there all by yourself?" So, I packed my entire life into 2 suitcases. I gave my potted plants to the neighbor, left behind my old favorite coffee pot, locked the door to my apartment, and moved in with them. At first, I genuinely felt needed again. My grandson would run to hug me. My daughter-in-law would ask if I wanted coffee, and my son would crack jokes at the dinner table. But then, the boundaries started shifting. "Mom, don't rearrange things in the kitchen. Mom, stay in your room tonight. We have company over. Mom, please don't mix your laundry with ours. This isn't your house. You know that, right?" I knew, trust me. I understood it all too well. I tried my best to be useful. I made soup. I deep cleaned the kitchen. I picked up the little one from school. I practically folded myself into the background just to stay out of everyone's way. Yet, they still treated me like an unwanted piece of clutter, hovering like a ghost. The absolute breaking point came one evening. I accidentally overheard my daughter-in-law talking on the phone in the hallway. Ugh, she just hovers around the house like a ghost. I mean, yeah, she's here, but honestly, it's just better when she keeps to herself and stays quiet. I stood frozen behind the door, completely unable to move. I didn't sleep a single wink that night. I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. And for the very first time, I told myself the unfiltered truth. I am not living with a family. I am living alongside people who find it convenient as long as I remain invisible. A month later, one packed my bags. I told my son I was moving out to stay with an old friend in a small countryside town. He let out a sigh of relief so profound that I didn't need any further proof. "You'll be much happier out there, Mom," he said, completely avoiding my eyes. Maybe I will be, because it is 1,000 times better to live in a tiny, cramped room where your dignity is intact than in a massive house where nobody even sees you. I am 60 years old. I refuse to be a burden on someone else's comfort just to keep the peace. I want to feel like a human being again. You see, old age doesn't officially hit you when wrinkles show up on your face. It hits you when your heart is still bursting with love. But you look around and realize that absolutely nobody wants to receive it.